Audience. Yep, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to commend all of you for running for office, and I'm a little disappointed. I want to express one issue here. Paul Sorum has not, he's kind of been shut out through this whole thing. It's like there's a political clique that doesn't want him involved in this. After I said that, I want to say what we're looking for as constituents. We're looking for not rhetoric, because we're sick and tired of empty rhetoric. We're sick and tired of both Republicans and Democrats promising us things, saying they're going to fix things. And when it comes down to it, the only thing that gets fixed is we got to work longer for Social Security. We have to sacrifice and pay tax on Social Security. And while the rest of you in office get nice salaries and get to go home and just live like kings, that's what I've got to say. Be honest, be statesmen with integrity and morality, not this bullshit ethics that they call.
Want to give that man a hand?
Yeah. I'm just going to ask some questions from emailers here.
You want to let them respond, though? I mean, we're just going to give a chance to respond to that.
I think in spirit of what he's been saying here, I'd like to know a little bit about accountability from the candidates, and perhaps what is your opinion on a balanced budget amendment? Why don't we start with JD?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, sir. I didn't catch your name, but I appreciate your comment. I'm sick of both parties up there, and I'm tired of their weak-kneed leadership up there. We're going to have some strong leadership that has the people's interest in mind, not special interest in mind. Now, concerning a balanced budget, I proposed the Federal Budget Priority Act in the Freedom Agenda that I've drafted. It does include a balanced budget act, not an amendment, because it would take a long time probably to get a balanced budget amendment ratified through the states. We need immediate relief from overspending. I mean crazy kind of overspending, the kind of wild overspending that only liberals can do. Now, in the Federal Budget Priority Act, we separate this budget out to 4 different funds. The debt reduction fund, every dime we took in, 10% of it would go to reduce the debt. The defense spending fund would be a second fund. The Social Security Trust Fund would be a third fund and would be isolated away from the rest of it. In the Federal Budget Priority Act, we also disallow Congress from the authority to ever touch or tap into the Social Security Trust Fund again. We've got to restore that thing. One brief more point, please. And then we have the discretionary spending fund.
Thank you. Kevin, sorry that's short, but
that's all right.
Kevin, why'd you here?
I'll be answering questions. We'll touch this later.
JD's right on. We can't wait to pass an amendment to pass a balanced budget. We ought to start balancing our budget as a matter of priorities and as a matter of morality, for crying out loud. Considering how little regard Barack Obama and the liberals have for unborn children, it seems shameful that we would be expecting them to pay the debt that we're driving up these days. With regard to our combat veteran friend's point about accountability, I know something about the human condition. I don't even trust myself that much. That's why I think we have to institutionalize accountability by my pledge of having no fewer than 100 town hall meetings. And I say it so often because I want all of you to hold me accountable. And if that doesn't work, I got married. She'll make sure. She'll make sure. But you know how you remain accountable? You remain connected. That's how you remain accountable.
Rick.
So it's an important point, and I thank him for raising it.
Rick, how do you feel on this issue?
Well, it reminded me of a quote that I heard, that a politician thinks about the next election and a statesman thinks about the next generation. And that's the problem here. In 2002, I became majority leader, and we had a deficit in North Dakota. We had a deficit. And we defeated spending bill after spending bill and tax bill after tax bill, and we passed one of the tightest budgets in North Dakota's history without a tax increase. There's over 600 lobbyists in North Dakota. We, and I say we because of the Republicans in the legislature, and I see several of them here, Betty and Al and Don and Tony and Judy, but we stood hard and we tightened our belt and tightened government's belt because we knew long term it would create the jobs and help our economy grow. So what we need out in Washington is, quite frankly, Washington needs to be more like North Dakota. We need to control the spending. We need to stop this deficit from growing. If anyone in North Dakota proposed what they're doing in Washington, we'd run them out of the state. And we need to focus on our jobs. We need to get our economy growing. So again, accountability is where the people are connected, the people can see what's going on, and that's what we need in Washington. It needs to be transparent.
Dwayne?
Well, I believe that if we don't balance our budget quick, every day that goes by, we're sliding further away from ourselves owning our country. We're going to be owned by somebody else sometime in the near future. And so we have to, if we don't balance our budget, just think of where we'll be. And do you run your budget at home the way our federal government runs our budget? So, and I have one other quick comment that I want to make real quick. I want to commend Rick Berg for the actions he took today for the problems in his campaign, and I think that he actually deserves one big round of applause because he did an awesome job.
We have a question in the audience.